Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, this face doesn't quite reflect how I feel inside anymore? Not because you're chasing youth, not because you're trying to look like someone else, but because you still feel vibrant, energetic, and alive, and you simply want the outside to match that beautiful spark within. That's where the idea of a facelift often begins. It starts as a quiet curiosity, a late-night Google search, a conversation you overheard at brunch, and suddenly, the question is right there in front of you. Would a facelift help me feel more like myself again? But here's the truth. Deciding whether or not to get a facelift after 50 isn't as simple as flipping a switch. It's layered, it's personal, and it deserves more than a glossy before and after photo. In this video, we're going beyond the surface. We'll walk through the real facts, the emotional weight, and the practical truths of facelifts for mature women. The risks, the rewards, the healing, the cost, all of it. Not filtered, not hyped, just honest insight grounded in real stories and research you can trust. Because at this stage in life, we don't need to be sold a dream. We need clarity, we need perspective, and we need to feel empowered to make decisions on our own terms. So if you've ever wondered whether a facelift could be right for you, or if you're simply curious about what it really involves, stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll have the understanding, the confidence, and the insight to decide if this is a path worth exploring. Now, let's begin with the basics and unpack what a facelift actually is. What exactly is a facelift, and which type is right for you? Before you can decide whether a facelift is right for you, you need to understand what it actually is. And just as importantly, what it isn't. A facelift or rhytidectomy is a surgical procedure designed to lift and tighten the skin and underlying tissues of the face and neck. Its main goal? To reduce sagging, smooth deep wrinkles, and restore a more youthful, refreshed contour, without changing who you are. But here's something many women don't realize at first. There's no one-size-fits-all facelift. There are actually several different types, each offering unique benefits depending on your needs, your anatomy, and your desired outcome. Let's start with the most common, the traditional facelift. This procedure targets the lower two-thirds of the face, including the jawline, cheeks, and neck. The surgeon repositions deeper layers of muscle and fat, removes excess skin, and lifts everything upward, not backward, to create a natural, rejuvenated appearance. It's ideal for women with moderate to significant sagging and deep creases around the nose, mouth, or jaw. But what if you're looking for something a bit less invasive? That's where the mini facelift comes in. This version focuses on early signs of aging, usually around the jowls and lower cheeks. It involves smaller incisions, shorter recovery time, and subtler results. It's perfect if you've noticed some drooping, but don't feel quite ready for a full surgical lift just yet. Still with me? Because there's more, and it's important. Another option is called the SMAS facelift, which stands for Superficial Musculoaponeurotic System. Sounds complicated, but here's the gist. It goes deeper than a traditional facelift by lifting not only the skin, but the deeper muscle layers beneath. Why does this matter? Because lifting at this deeper level often leads to longer-lasting and more natural-looking results, especially for women over 60 whose skin has experienced more significant structural changes over time. Each of these facelift types can be customized, which means you're not locked into a cookie-cutter result. You and your surgeon can work together to design an approach that fits your facial anatomy, lifestyle, and comfort level. And this brings us to an important truth. A good facelift isn't about looking done, it's about looking like you, only more rested, more refreshed, and more aligned with the way you feel inside. So whether you're exploring a mini lift to gently redefine your jawline, or considering a deeper SMAS lift to address years of aging, you have options. And knowing your options is the first step toward making a confident, informed decision. Coming up next, let's talk about what really motivates women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond to consider a facelift, and why for some, it's not just about looks at all. Why do women over 60 choose a facelift? Let's be honest, getting older is a gift. Every year we live adds more wisdom, more resilience, and more stories worth telling. But for many women, the reflection in the mirror starts to feel out of sync with how they feel inside. And that quiet disconnect between how you look and how you feel is often where the idea of a facelift first takes root. It's not about vanity, it's not about trying to be 30 again, it's about reclaiming a sense of harmony between the face the world sees and the woman you know yourself to be. For many women over 60, a facelift isn't about erasing the years. It's about softening the parts of aging that feel heavy or distracting. Maybe it's the deep lines around your mouth that make you look tired even when you're full of energy, or the loose skin around your neck that you find yourself adjusting your scarves or collars to hide. Whatever the reason, these small frustrations can chip away at your confidence. Not because aging is bad, but because you deserve to feel like the best version of yourself. And here's the beautiful part. Many women who've had facelifts say the real transformation wasn't just physical. They report feeling lighter, more comfortable in their skin, more willing to show up fully in photos, conversations, even relationships. One woman described it like this: "It wasn't that I wanted to look younger. I just wanted to stop seeing that tired version of me every morning. I knew I still had so much life left in me. And now finally my face reflects that." Let's pause on that thought for a moment, because what she's describing isn't just a cosmetic change, it's a return to self-recognition. That moment when you catch your reflection and feel seen again, that matters. Of course, confidence isn't something surgery can give you. It has to come from within. But if smoothing out a few lines or lifting your jawline gives you that extra spark to walk taller or smile a little wider, there's no shame in that. In fact, for many women, the choice to get a facelift is one of the most empowering decisions they've ever made. Not because they were unhappy with who they were, but because they chose to honor themselves in a way that felt deeply personal. And that's the key. The decision to have a facelift shouldn't come from pressure. It should come from alignment. Alignment with who you are, how you feel, and how you want to show up in this next beautiful chapter of life. Next, let's talk about one of the biggest reasons women seriously consider this option: the long-term results, and how a facelift compares to the endless cycle of temporary fixes. The risks and side effects you deserve to know. Let's take a deep breath here, because this is the part many gloss over. The brochures, they highlight smooth skin and lifted cheeks, but what they don't always show is the healing process, the emotional ups and downs, and the risks that, while rare, are real. Facelift surgery is just that, surgery. It's not a magic wand. It's a medical procedure that involves cutting, lifting, repositioning, and stitching. And like any surgery, there are risks involved, even when done by the best hands in the business. So what are those risks exactly? Let's begin with the most common side effects: swelling and bruising. These are expected, especially in the first 2 to 3 weeks. For many women, the mirror becomes a temporary battleground: puffiness around the eyes, purple marks on the jawline. And while you know it's part of the process, it can still feel shocking. Then there's numbness. Did you know that after a facelift, it's common to lose sensation in parts of your face for weeks, sometimes even months? Most of the time, it fades as the nerves regenerate, but for a few, the numbness lingers, and that can impact both confidence and comfort. We also need to talk about scarring. Yes, good surgeons hide the incisions well, behind the ears, along the hairline, but no incision is truly invisible. If your skin doesn't heal smoothly, if you form keloids or have a tendency for thick scarring, those lines may stay longer than you'd like. Now, on the rarer side, but still important, there's the risk of infection, hematomas, which are blood pools under the skin, and even facial nerve injury. These are not everyday complications, but they're not just urban legends either. Here's the thing: most women over 60 are not afraid of truth. What we fear more is being surprised, being left in the dark, being told it's no big deal, when in fact it can be a big deal. That's why I believe knowledge is empowering. When you know what might happen, not just the good, but also the uncomfortable, you're better prepared to handle it with grace, with realism, and with resilience. And here's a little perspective shift. The healing process is not a setback. It's part of your strength story. It's your body working to support you, regenerate you, and reveal the woman who's been waiting underneath. So don't let fear stop you, but don't walk in blind either. Coming up next, we'll talk about the recovery journey, from day one post-surgery to the moment you finally feel like you again. Because healing isn't just physical, it's emotional too. And knowing what to expect makes all the difference. Does a facelift hurt? What recovery really looks like. Let's talk about one of the biggest fears women have: pain, discomfort. The idea of waking up from surgery and not knowing what to expect. It's completely normal to feel nervous, especially if it's your first time considering something surgical. But the truth might surprise you. Most women say the actual pain is very manageable. Yes, there's swelling. Yes, there's some bruising. But no, it's not the unbearable experience many imagine. In fact, many women over 60 report the discomfort feels more like a deep tightness or pressure, not sharp or intense pain. And thanks to modern anesthesia and post-op medications, you'll be kept comfortable from start to finish. A gentle timeline, what recovery really looks like. So what exactly happens after surgery? Let's break it down gently. The first 2 to 3 days are when swelling and tightness peak. You'll want to rest, keep your head elevated, and follow your surgeon's instructions carefully. Cold compresses can help a lot. So can soft foods and minimal movement. By day 5 to 7, many women start to feel much better. Bruising fades, stitches come out. The face begins to relax into its new shape. Within 2 weeks, most of the visible swelling is gone. You may still look slightly puffy, but not alarming, and by week 3 to 4, you'll likely be out and about again, enjoying life with a fresher version of yourself. Healing takes patience, but it's worth it. Here's the secret no one tells you. Healing isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Some days you'll look in the mirror and feel uncertain. Other days you'll see glimpses of your younger self and smile. The key is patience. Give your body time to settle. Give your heart time to adjust. Many women say they truly fall in love with their results around the 3-month mark. That's when everything softens and looks natural. That's when the compliments begin. That's when you no longer see surgery. You just see you renewed. Smooth transition. What about risks and safety? But we can't talk about recovery without being honest about the risks. Every surgery has them. And in the next segment, we'll explore the truth behind facelift complications and what you need to ask your doctor to stay safe. Risks and complications. What every woman over 60 should know. Before you say yes to a facelift, let's talk about the not-so-glamorous part: the risks, the side effects, and the real questions you should be asking. Because elegance is not just about how you look, it's also about how wisely you make decisions. Every surgery has risks, but you can prepare. First, let's be real. A facelift is a surgical procedure, and like any surgery, it comes with possible complications. Some are mild and temporary. Others, though rare, are more serious. You may experience swelling that lasts longer than expected, or bruising that travels down your neck and chest. Sometimes, numbness in the cheeks or jawline can linger for weeks, even months. In very rare cases, complications like hematomas, blood collecting under the skin, infections, or nerve damage may occur. It sounds scary, and it should be taken seriously. But here's what matters most: your choice of surgeon. Your surgeon matters more than you think. Think of your facelift like a high-performance car. Even with the best design, you need the right hands behind the wheel. Choose a board-certified plastic surgeon. Look for someone who specializes in facial rejuvenation, not just general plastic surgery. Ask to see before and after photos of women in your age group, not just 30-year-olds. And don't be shy about questions. Ask them all. What are your complication rates? What will you do if something goes wrong? How do you minimize scarring on mature skin? A trustworthy surgeon won't just answer, they'll welcome your curiosity. Red flags you should never ignore. Let's go one step deeper. If a surgeon promises no downtime, be cautious. If they rush you into surgery without a full health screening, walk away. And if the price seems too good to be true, it probably is. Remember, this is your face. There are no do-overs. Trust your gut. Trust your research. And most of all, trust your worth. Aging gracefully is also about aging safely. The goal of a facelift isn't perfection, it's to help you feel more like you, more confident, more refreshed. Not like a different person, just a more radiant version of the same woman. But you can only enjoy those results if you've done your homework and taken every step with care. Now, let's talk about something a little more practical: the cost. What does a real facelift for women over 60 actually cost? And is there any way insurance can help? You might be surprised by what's possible and what's worth investing in. Emotional healing after a facelift. You thought the hard part was over once the stitches were out, but healing after a facelift isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. The mirror becomes a new kind of conversation, one where you're not quite sure who's looking back at you. Some mornings you smile, other mornings you search for the old version of yourself. This is more common than people admit. There's a quiet grief that sometimes comes with change, even change we asked for. Plastic surgeons don't always prepare you for that, but your heart needs time to catch up with your face. You may feel joy, you may feel regret, and sometimes you'll feel both in the same hour. That's why the emotional effects of plastic surgery deserve more space, because self-esteem isn't just about smooth skin, it's about identity. And identity takes time to reconnect with. Many women over 60 have shared that it took weeks, even months, to feel at home in their new appearance. It didn't happen the moment the bandages came off, but eventually it did. One day they stopped analyzing their reflection. They just looked and saw themselves, not a younger version, but a more rested, more self-assured one. That moment, it's not loud, it's soft, like a sigh of relief, like coming home. So if you're in that messy middle space, between old and new, between fear and hope, know that you're not alone. Psychological recovery after facelift surgery is real, and it's okay to feel everything: the doubt, the pride, the unexpected tears when your grandchild says, "Grandma, you look so happy today." That's the true beauty of this journey, not transformation, but reconnection, because you didn't change who you are. You just gave yourself permission to feel beautiful again. Conclusion: glowing through every season of life, you don't need to chase youth to feel beautiful. Because true radiance comes from how you care for yourself, not how smooth your forehead looks. This summer, the most powerful thing you can do for your skin is listen to it, feed it water, protect it from the sun, and give it gentle, healing love, the kind that soaks in slowly, like morning light through sheer curtains. You've earned the right to take your time, to savor your anti-aging skincare routine like a ritual, to feel joy in the soft touch of a serum, to let your reflection show life, not just youth. Remember, mature skin isn't a flaw. It's an archive of laughter, of sunny days, of decades of being needed. So every freckle, every fine line, every shift in texture is part of your beauty, not an apology. And yes, you still deserve to glow, to walk into a room and light it up, to wear sunscreen like armor and moisturizer like silk. The best summer skincare isn't about turning back time, it's about walking forward, hydrated, protected, and proud. So choose lightweight layers. Use your vitamin C like sunshine in a bottle. Let your anti-aging skincare be a love letter to the woman you are now. This isn't just about beauty. It's about honoring your skin and the story it tells. Here's to every elegant, glowing woman over 50. Who knows that summer isn't just a season, it's a state of being. And your glow, it never retires.